Martell do battle against Owen Turtenwald. See a Snapping Gnarlid, a Beast Caller Savant here for Martell. It's a McKitty slide run on Turtenwald's side. You see Turtenwald's already down to 15. Turtenwald with an island. He'll be attacking here for 3. Martell will take that 3. He's down to 17 already. There's an outnumber to take care of the Beast Caller Savant.
Is this Snapping Gnarlid's first time on camera this weekend?
Actually, I think it is.
That is shocking, but I think it's true.
There's a lot of haters of Snapping Gnarlid, honestly.
It's doing its thing right now.
There's a Life Spring Druid, pass the turn back. An island there for Turtenwald. He'll attack for 3. There's a Benthic Infiltrator. Now we head back Tom Martell's way.
Quality blocker. Martell's going to need some help to get through here.
I'll trigger the landfall there with the Snapping Gnarlid. Curious what the follow-up is here for Tom. Well, it's an Awaken spell, clearly. Royal Spout. Infiltrator out of the way, back on top of the deck. Snapping Gnarlid in, and he's got a 4/4 now, too. It's a good start here for Tom.
Really good turn, setting Turtenwald back a little bit, clears out the 4 toughness blocker, gets to hit for 3, now has a 4/4 matching up against a 4 toughness blocker.
Royal Spout, a premier uncommon in the set. Very, very good card. Haven't seen it a ton this weekend, but when we have, it's been very, very impressive.
It generates a lot of the same tempo swings that Clutch does, and is also putting it on top of the deck, so it's more a card advantage and tempo, not just tempo.
There's an island and an attack. In for 3, follow up. There's the Guardian again.
I was about to say, if Turtenwald's sitting in with the slide runner here, probably means he's got a 4/5.
Yep. Let's see if Martell can handle this thing. He's handled everything else up to this point.
Guardian Tazim, if the game is a damage race, this might be the best card in the set.
Yeah. This card is silly at times. Wow, Stasis Snare is one heck of an answer. It's an attack for 6. Turtenwald is down to 3. Pass the turn back. There aren't a lot of clean answers in Martell's deck to that card, but he had one of the best ones there.
Martell also with Royals Retribution as a way to do it, but you'd much rather have the clean answer.
McKindy Slide Runner. Benthic Infiltrator, pass the turn back. Now Turtenwald trying to stabilize. He's slowed down on the attacks.
This is a tough board to stabilize. I mean, on the face of it, Turtenwald can block everything on the table and stay alive, but not really make much in the way of inroads on the board. I would imagine if Martell attacks with everything and doesn't play a land, Owen will try to double block the land with the slide runners and put the Infiltrator in front of the Druid. Fall to 1, but get the board cleaned up except for the Gnarlid and leave his 1/4 left over. This assumes that Martell simply moves into combat and attacks, which seems unlikely. 3 cards in hand. Didn't make a land drop last turn when it would have been good for a landfall trigger, so looking at 3 spells most likely.
And the question is, what are those 3 spells?
Seen this before again, Martell ahead seemingly by a lot, but slowing down. Not in a rush to make a decision. Wants to go through all the permutations of what Owen's blocks look like, depending on how Martell attacks.
Time to come in. Snapping Gnarlid. Awoken Looming Spires, that's a 4/4. Just gonna be the Looming Spires here. Double block, yep. Tom says I'll trade off that for 2 creatures.
Only reasonable block Turtenwald has access to at that point.
Yep. A plant is made there from the Gove Tender. And now we head back Turtenwald's way. A mountain, and Turtenwald will just pass the turn back over to Martell. Not an impressive turn there from Owen. Martell will draw. Again, if he's not playing lands, that means he's got spells.
Yep. And I think this might look juicy enough just to Alpha Strike with no help right now.
He's going to play this pre-combat to get a plant token.
It's going to be Alpha Striking here almost certainly.
Yes, he is.
Just making sure he gets his plan in case something goes wrong.
Which I think is very smart. And that Martell's going to win game number 1 here over Owen Turtenwald. His green-white deck up a game over Turtenwald's beautiful blue-red deck. Turtenwald immediately going to the sideboard.
So we talked a lot about Owen's top end. You know, Serpentine Strike, Hellkite, Guardian, all excellent cards. But if you look at the bottom ends of the deck, who's doing more for 2 or 3 or 4 mana, Martell's creatures are much better.
This is true. I mean, perhaps we see Tom just go on to aggressive starts to try to push Owen over.
A curve of high-quality creatures backed up by 1 Stasis Snare to answer one of Owen's marquee threats. That's about as good as you can draw it out from Martell's side.
It was an impressive start there from Martell. Turtenwald tried to race back a little bit there with the slide runners. We'll see how these players do change things, as they are changing things pretty quickly here in the sideboard.
That game is very different, though, if Martell can't kill the Guardian. Even if that Stasis Snare is some very good threat, 4 in the air plus having a lot of control over the damage race, given how tight it was at the time, might have been hard for Martell to win. But with a removal spell, the quality creatures he already had in play were enough to sweep it up.
Tom Martell up 1 here over Owen Turtenwald. Turtenwald's blue-red deck, again, we watched him draft it. He's got that Guardian of Tazim, Akum, Hellkite, Serpentine Spike, and just a really nice blue-red deck here. No guarantees he's going to win the tournament, but you have to imagine odds on favor taking a look at his 40 cards. Martell, his deck is a little all over the place, but some pretty powerful cards are like that Splashed Royal Spell.
And the base of the deck is pretty straightforward. It's a green-white deck where I feel like Martell feels like the mana fixing is good enough for him to add a little bit of power with the blue and red cards. But I think Owen's real bomb in the matchup, the flying creatures are great, obviously. And like I said, I think Guardian of Tazim might have been enough to win that game if it stuck around. The Serpentine Spike, if Owen has it, even on the last turn of that game, or close to it, he might have been able to get that game turned around. It's going to be kill 3 creatures very frequently.
Yeah, against Tom's deck, yeah.
And Martell is paying 4 or 5 mana for a lot of creatures with 3 or 4 toughness. I can confirm from the side draft that I played on Friday.
Ooh, nice.
Serpentine Spike, very good against those kind of decks.
Noted. Noted.
Did
you win that side draft?
I did not. My Ghostly Sentinel. Trying to think of the creatures that got killed. It was a really good spread. It was a Ghostly Sentinel. It was the 2/2 flyer for 3.
Shadow Glider.
Shadow Glider.
Also down.
And some 4 toughness threat that represented a reasonable level investment for me. Don't recall the details exactly.
Something you didn't want to see die.
And then the processing begun.
See, because they're exiled to the spike.
Mm-hmm.
And then they process them away. Sorry about that whammy.
Wemme.
Nice little finals here between Owen Turtenwald and Tom Martell. Tom Martell currently up a game. Turtenwald waiting patiently as he's down a game. Both these guys multiple-time Grand Prix champions. Martell has a Pro Tour championship to his name. Turtenwald multiple Pro Tour top 8s. It seems like it's only a matter of time until Turtenwald's going to have that winner's photo at a Pro Tour. Also, we can't forget, as much as we talked about Seth Manfield this weekend, Turtenwald, well, he got second place in World.
We all acknowledge that Magic's a game with a lot of variance, and so who wins the tournament, who top 8s the tournament, isn't necessarily the best indicator of skill. You just look at results over time, consistency and respect to peers. And if you had to pick someone right now, in a historical sense, I believe it's John Finkel. But if you had to pick someone right now, I think it has to be Owen.
Many say the best technical player in the game. It's hard to argue. Rarely will you see him make a mistake. He won't win or lose every game, but a play mistake, that's rare.
And if you value consistency and respect to peers, Martell's also on the short list.
Yeah. A couple of lands to start here for Turtenwald. He's on the play this game. An island and a mountain. For Martell, it's a forest and a plains. And old Snappy. There's an island. Benthic Infiltrator heading back over to Martell. Island there for Martell. He's got 3 of his colors. Call that the chump check. I respect it by Martell getting that 3-3 into a 1-4. You just got to know.
Owen's blocking every time because there's no reason for Martell not to attack, but you still got to go through the motions.
Yeah, I just want to know. You got it? You going to block? All right. Good for you.
Testing the waters.
Absolutely.
Only one way to find out.
Never assume anything.
Exactly.
Martell is that Grove Tender Druids. He'll make a plant as well, pass the turn back. Anticipate here for Turtenwald. Looks like he's going to take a mountain here.
4 lands in play and taking a land off and anticipate. I would imagine Owen's got at least one of his big rares in hand already.
Yeah, he's working towards something, isn't he? Just the question is, which rare is it going to be? Stone Fury. Not a rare, but an answer for the Grove Tender Druids.
And very important for Turtenwald to have that spot too, because Martell was entering a position where he's going to be able to attack next turn with at least the Druids and the Gnarlid. Now, Martell's entire offense is held off. There's no attacks to be made on the table.
There's a forest for Martell. Triggered landfall, nice coming into the red zone. A little bit curious, this attack. Infiltrator's got some good blocks. Gonna make Turtenwald think a little bit. I like it.
I mean, I assume you just go ahead and block one of the one-touched creatures or one-power creatures and see what's up. Yeah, Royal's Retribution.
Okay.
Makes sense here. I'm sure Turtenwald's not unhappy with that trade, especially with Hellkite and Guardian in his deck. It's a good one to get out of the way.
But Tom wants that 1-4 out of the way.
Yeah, he has to get an offense going, and the only way to do that is by getting the 1-4 off the table. I'm sure it's not Martell's ideal use of the card, but given the circumstances, he has to do it.
To Turtenwald we go. The clutch will take care of the plant token for good. He's going to awaken the land and get in with the land.
That's a pretty confident attack here from Turtenwald if he could have left the 3-3 back. The other possibility is he just values the land so highly, he's not intending on blocking with it in any case.
Looming Spires. Here come the beatdowns. Pretty healthy attack there from Martell. He just has to pass the turn back now. Turtenwald down to 11. An island in the draw here for Owen. 6 mana. Hellkite. Tom wants to take a look.
It's bad news.
Yeah. And I don't think he has an answer. Mountain, take care of Snapping Gnarlid. Martell going to play tandem tactics, gain a little bit of life, save his creatures, pass a turn back.
I would imagine that Martell has an answer to the dragon if he's willing to save those creatures.
Mm-hmm. Temporary or permanent, we'll see.
Because in the long term, these creatures aren't worth a whole lot if the Hellkite stays in play.
Yep. Six mana. Royal Spout with Awaken. That's going to go back on top.
That would qualify.
Yep. Force is going to be made into a 4/4. Here come the attackers. Turtenwald's going to fall down to 8. Tom's just trying to tempo him out. Just trying to push him over.
And at this point, Owen needs another land to follow up with to have the Hellkite be worth a whole lot on the way back. Otherwise, it's just trading with the 4/4 land. Because Owen's life total is quite low.
It doesn't appear Turtenwald has the spike yet. And now he's going to slow down a touch, it appears. Turtenwald giving this turn quite a bit of thought.
Well, the big question, I think, is if you're attacking with the 3/3 land or not.
7 mana, Rune Processor, and nothing to process.
This is a safer play than getting the Hellkite onto the table. Because now the 4/4 can't do anything without help.
Mm-hmm.
He slows the entire game down. Martell cannot make an attack as the board currently stands. Then Owen can untap, play the Hellkite. Every land's great going forward, and every spell is great as well. I thought that when he tapped 7, that might have been the Serpentine Strike.
Yep.
Would have been a good spot for it.
It would have been okay.
More expert analysis to come.
Yeah. Now Martell's going to go in the tank. He's 1 game away from another Grand Prix championship. But he's going to have to earn it through one of the game's very best right now in Owen Turtenwald. And every turn of the previous game and this game, he's just been kind of pushing Owen over, keeping him off balance just long enough to cross the finish line. You wonder if he's going to be able to do it one more time with this green-white deck. Lifespring Druid. Pass the turn back. Turtenwald will draw. Picked up a mountain. Hellkite, mountain, Snapping Gnarlid down. It looks like Turtenwald may have stabilized here, Patrick.
Well, certainly for the moment. Not in a position to attack just yet, but if Martell doesn't add anything of substance to the board, Owen can start attacking with the Hellkite next turn.
Life total is 19-8 in favor here of Martell. Turtenwald's in the spot right now where lands and spells are both very good, and he has some very good spells to draw. Martell with an Eyeless Watcher. He'll pass the turn back over to Turtenwald. Turtenwald going to draw. Didn't get a great look at the draw step. But it's brought some thought here for Turtenwald. He's going to play a mountain, take care of the Lifespring Druid. Is he willing to attack? The answer is yes. Martell will take the damage. He's down to 15. Forest the draw here for Tom.
That attack does represent some risk for Owen as he's left himself dead on the way back to turn against, which is not an impossible card for Martell to have in his deck. But I don't think Owen can really afford to wait here. It's just kind of got to go. And Martell does not have the card anywhere.
A lot for Tom to think about here. You can see with every draw step, this game can be slipping away.
Yep. I mean, an alpha strike here is not worth a whole lot. Gets Owen down to 5.
Tom doing a lot of math right now, trying to figure out how he can cross the finish line. Because every draw step that Owen gets is worse for Tom.
It's funny, you often get into spots like this where you're saying, please draw a land.
Yep.
In the landfall sets, you're often saying, please draw a bad spell.
Yep.
I don't even know what that is, but that's what I need.
What do we have here? Boiling Earth is going to turn this land into a huge creature, and now he's coming in with everything.
So the land is just the Abyss right now.
It's an 8-power creature. Wow.
That's a big swing.
Yeah.
Now, the 1 damage doesn't count for a whole lot because he can put 3 3s in front of 1 1s if he wants to.
Turtenwald thinking double block here because he wants to get the big land of the battlefield. He'll lose both his creatures to do that.
I don't believe so. He's got 10. No, yeah, you're right.
Because of Boiling Earth's damage, right?
No, there's 11 toughness on his creatures. 8 plus 3.
Oh, no, you're right.
Minus 2 is 9.
Yep, you're
and
right.
it's only 8 power.
Okay.
So this block is safe.
Okay. Turtenwald will take 4. He'll fall down to 4. Pass the turn back. He'll draw. Again, lands are good. Spells might be better, unclear.
Looks like the draw was an island.
With the Hellkite, that deals 1.
That was quite the turn there from Martell.
Yep. And there's an island. Beastcaller Savant down. I think Turtenwald's going to put the brakes on here. Yep. Martell on tap. Big draw here for Tom.
Yeah, I mean, it's a slightly defensive play here from Owen, which makes sense because he's at 4. The other logic here is just his draw steps are so much better.
Plummet off the top
Martell's
from Martell.
Excuse me, I stand corrected.
Everything coming in. A block. Turtenwald going to fall down to 2. Pass the turn. Turtenwald will pass back to Martell. He'll pass back. Over to Owen we go. Right back to Tom. Whew, it's a close one. Martell with a forest. He's tapping mana. Courier Griffin.
This is lethal.
That is lethal.
This represents a win next turn.
Turtenwald will draw. Sentinel past the turn back. Does Turtenwald have anything? Martell reaching for lands right away. He's drawing an Awaken spell. Might be Coastal Discovery. It is. He'll awaken the forest. It's a 4/4. He'll draw 2 cards. Might just be the Griffin that comes in the red zone. Tom deciding what he wants to attack with here. Did this green deck actually get it done? Attack with everything right now, and that is going to do it. Tom Martell is going to win this match here over Owen Turtenwald. 2-0. Who said you can't draft green here in Atlanta? He is your Grand Prix Atlanta champion. Congratulations to him.
What a great comeback there from Martell, and there was a lot of times there in game number 2 where Owen kind of took a position